Alright everyone, now it's time to talk about the crypto crash. A lot of people talking about it, some people probably teetering on the edge of a bridge with a rope in their hand right now. I am completely unperturbed and still holding on for dear life. I'm going to continue holding my crypto. By the way, links in the description if you want to donate crypto to me. It's worth less now, so, pony it up. I kid, but I do like it to get crypto donations because it's kind of fun. Anyway, I've put thousands of dollars into crypto. I've also received fairly large amounts of crypto as donations. Technically, on paper, I've lost several tens of thousands of dollars holding this crypto. And there was a time, you'll remember, not that many moons ago, when Bitcoin was really high, I could have made a considerable amount of money offloading all of my cryptocurrency. And I decided not to, and I don't regret the decision at all. It's just going to sit there, and I'm going to ride the next wave upwards. Now, disclaimer, this video is just my opinions. It is not economic or fiscal advice, and I'm not your fiscal advisor or an expert in economics. I don't have a degree like Krugman does, and therefore I'm right more often than he is. I think that people get like an economics degree or journalism degree, and it warps them. And at some point, they just become totally egotistical, and they can't break themselves out of thinking that their snap opinions are right. Anyway, crypto has fallen significantly, Bitcoin leading that bearish market. I expect it to, in not too long, stabilize. It may already have done that. And then to rise up. All you have to do is look at two factors. This is my take on it. Bitcoin, especially, and to an extent other cryptos, Ethereum is a big one, are gaining more and more acceptance. That is that you're seeing the tip of the iceberg as far as potential usage value. Don't think of it in terms of absolute numbers of value like zeros, ones, or dollars denominations. Think about it in terms of tangible usefulness. What can you actually do with these things? Over the last few years, we've seen steady innovation. We've seen more and more banks getting into crypto. We've seen more and more billionaires getting into crypto. We've seen more politicians rambling about needing to regulate crypto. That's just a justification of its usefulness. They want to regulate it because they want the big guy wants his 10%. There's no reason to do that if crypto isn't conceived of as becoming more accepted and more useful. When PayPal and Bank of Banks and, Madoff and all of these other people are delving into crypto, when the usual sleazy gang of fools in DC and Wall Street and New York City and Tokyo are all beginning to get into it, when entire nations are setting up mining rigs, you know that cryptocurrency is probably not going anywhere. The fact is that the whales, the big players and their buddies, are all in on it. Only a small proportion, though, of businesses and individuals in general are involved with crypto. But they're joining in more and more. If the price falls like this, if the buy-in is less, I would think that it would actually spur more people to get in. It also, in the case of Bitcoin, means less people will mine it because it's worth less now, so mining rigs shut off. Therefore, the supply grows more slowly than potentially the demand. The other thing is you can look at a very long-term trajectory, especially of Bitcoin, but again, of others, and many of them are just shitcoins. I wouldn't invest in them. I'm invested in 6 different cryptocurrencies. People are constantly approaching me with new coins that some random person who you may not even know the name of, they're going under an alias, has minted a new coin, and here's his 15-page manifesto on why it'll change the world. I've seen them come and go over and over again, and I'm not willing to invest in them. There's no reason to. Bitcoin is the big dog. Ethereum is the one that seems to have the most usage in many cases. Litecoin is just basically the silver to Bitcoin's gold. And there are some others that have usefulness. Monero, I think, has a usefulness. The problem being that usefulness is basically hiding transfers. So if you're using it for day-to-day normal things, or just as a store of wealth, there's no reason to invest in Monero. So I'd be more skeptical about that. Look at a long-term trend since Bitcoin's initial inception, when it was, like a penny for a Bitcoin. I bet there are a lot of people who wish that they had sprung on it at the time. I remember when it was like maybe 50 cents a Bitcoin, I considered dumping $100 into it just for jollies, but then ended up using that money to buy beer because I was a poor, starving college kid, and I said, well, yeah, it sounds pretty fun. I was seeing it on 4chan at the time. Yeah, I kind of wish I had bought in. Although, to tell the truth, because I was young and dumb at the time, I wouldn't have waited until it was tens of thousands of dollars of Bitcoin and made out like a band. I wouldn't have become a millionaire. I would have offloaded it when it hit like $100 or something. I would have made quite a bit of money. Would have been nice. Make $10,000, $20,000 in a transfer. Well, this will take care of my tuition for the year. That would have been pleasant, you know. I would have been buying better beer. But unfortunately, hindsight's 20/20. If you held it long term, you're a millionaire now. If you didn't, you know, you bought pizza with Bitcoin. Apparently, there was one time when a person bought a pizza with Bitcoin when it was like a penny a piece. Well, that was an expensive pizza. Isn't it worth like $10 million now or something? Or actually $100 million? Anyway, look at a long-term trend. For the last year or so, it was overvalued. If you draw a very simple trend line that gently slopes upwards, you'll find a lot is above that line. Now it's below that line, in my opinion, or roughly at it. I think a bit below. It will stabilize, and then there's a delay. Could be months, could be years. And then it goes back up to that trend line. It's sort of like within political polling. What you see is static. People panic sell. People get greedy and buy up a bunch, and it forces the value up or down, but the real value is somewhere in the middle. There's a median, and it's rising because the amount of acceptance is rising. The more people using it, the more demand for it, and especially at times like this, when the growth of the supply is throttled back, the more the value will tend to grow. But that value may not be realized right away. The other thing that I would say is look at the actions of the whales. They're still buying it up. They're looking at this as a buying opportunity. And that'll probably buoy the price at some point. Now, it could be that this is a pipe dream. The whales say, okay, this experiment's over. They all start dumping it, and crypto goes to zero and effectively stops existing for any purpose other than as a novelty. And you'll have a museum of the crazy millennials crypto scam bullshit, and somebody will make a lot of money literally having a museum full of flash drives and posters and shit like that. That could very well happen. But I'm not betting on it. I'm going to continue holding the crypto. If I were a fiscal advisor, I wouldn't be telling people, okay, now's the time to get out. Sell at a loss. Well, no, I mean, if you've already gotten in, and this is the other thing. I've invested responsibly. I didn't dump my life savings into crypto. I dumped a few $1,000s into crypto. I also received donations. Of course, that's risk-free, effectively. So I'm in a different boat than someone who very dumbly decided, and if this applies to you, I really feel sorry for you. You're a clanker, and so you get a pass because you're smart in many other ways because you understand my material. You're a clanker, so clank on even if you can't afford a spoon necessarily right now. Again, there is sympathy there. I've been there, done that. If you invested all of your wages or something into Bitcoin, or started getting paid in Ethereum or something like that under a contract, you done goofed, dude, because you're not supposed to do that. No reasonable person does that unless they are really at the top 1% and they're politically connected and they can get a zero interest loan and the government will bail them out if they fail. If you're in BlackRock or Vanguard or something, yeah, dump $1 billion of taxpayer money into crypto. The government will make the checks good even if you completely screw the pooch. China, by the way, does this. It's a cancer on our economy. If you are, though, just day trading and stuff like that, investing more than you can afford to lose is always a bad idea. It doesn't matter if it's crypto. It can be a business, it can be stocks, it can be dumping money into a mutual fund. Whatever you're doing, you should not do it to excess and hazard your capability of paying the bills. That's about all. Peace out.